Welcome back, everybody, to the Cloud Zero Sports podcast. We are joined by our co-host Antonio Del Guzzo, aka Puggy. How are we doing today?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. And then we got our wonderful Cloud Zero Sports contributor, the hockey and soccer man, Micky Therminos. How are we doing today?
We're doing fantastic, bud. I'm glad to be here.
And I'm happy you are here, man. We got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be talking some football. There's a bunch of still playoff spots still open. So we're going to be talking about which wildcard teams we think could do some damage. We're going to be talking about Kyrie Irving's official return. And we're all here because our soccer club, Manchester United, is in a hole.
Garbage.
And we want to complain about it for a bit. So stay tuned for that. But first off, we're going to start with the important stuff. And that is the football wild card race. There is a lot going on in the NFL right now. So many playoff spots are open, key games, Raiders, Chargers, Steelers, Colts, even the Ravens are still in the AFC. And then over in the NFC, it's pretty much the 49ers and the Saints. But the wild card teams of the Eagles and the Cardinals and possibly the Rams, depending on how it shakes out, could be interesting.
There's a major second seed battle back there over there too.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. But let's first start with the wild card teams. Puggy, which wild card team do you think can make the most noise in the AFC, whether it's one that's clinched already or one that could still get in?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think the Chargers personally. Justin Herbert's having a fantastic season. Everyone expected him to have that sophomore slump. And I've been saying since the season started, he wasn't going to have that. And he's clearly not really having it. He's putting up fantastic numbers. Their defense is starting to figure it out. But at the same time,
defense is still pretty.
It's but it's going to get, hopefully it gets better. I mean, like big Derwin Sterwin fan, you know?
So Derwin Sterwin. Gotta love me some Derwin Sterwin, man.
But if it isn't the Chargers, though, at the same time, I do think the Colts. Carson Wentz is showing a lot of life back with Frank Wright. That offensive line with Big Q, fantastic. Jonathan Taylor, oh my Lord, he's proving everyone wrong for saying he shouldn't be a first round running back to draft fantasy.
So or just a good running back in general.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, the numbers he put is ridiculous. So I say it's between those two at the moment.
I would say I was thinking Chargers, but I am gonna lean Colts. Their defense is doing fantastic. Kenny Moore's playing great this year. Darius Leonard's covering better. DeForest Buckner's a beast. The offensive line is crucial. Yeah, right? I mean, Quentin Nelson is an absolute animal. And people are ragging on Carson Wentz, for not being perfect. But the thing is, when the trenches are as dominant as they are, he doesn't need to be perfect. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't need to be as perfect.
And this is gonna sound a little messed up. But the Colts have hit their COVID bug that every team's getting. Like they hit it.
It's better to hit it now. It's better to get it.
They already went through it, so like they're at the right time right now.
Yeah. I just want to say before we go any further, I firmly believe that the healthiest team is going to win it all this year. Because think about it, Pat Mahomes, he gets COVID like for the in the conference championship game. Are the Chiefs winning? I highly doubt it.
I don't even know who their backup quarterback is.
I forget too. It's been that long. Sounds good. But anyways, I think the Colts can get it done.
Chad Henne
doing great. Chad Henne. Nice.
Yeah, whatever.
Jonathan Taylor is doing great. Carson Wentz is fine. I think if they match up, I think they would get the Bengals. It's tough because I'm high on the Bengals too, but that would be a very interesting matchup. But the seeding could still change. I mean, they could still lose the Jags and get knocked out, which would be embarrassing. But I can't see that happening. So Micky, who do you think in the AFC wild card race has the most potential to do some damage if they were to get in? Whether even it could be the Ravens or the Steelers too, or even the Raiders or the Chargers.
I don't think the Ravens or the Raiders are going to get in, to be quite frank.
Okay.
I think the Chargers are going to get that spot. It's just a matter if the Steelers can somehow manage to sneak in there, which that's dependent on
the Colts and Jags pretty much. Because I think the Steelers could beat the Ravens, but
very slim chance.
I just don't see the Colts losing I know the stat. Oh, they haven't been Jacksonville since 2014, but
that doesn't matter.
I really don't think
the season
that
the Jaguars are having this year. I don't think that matters at all.
And the word, especially where the Colts are now. I mean, the Colts lost to the Jags week 1 last year. Plenty has changed since then.
Yeah.
But if the Steelers get in, it would be hard to count them out. There's a lot of experience on that team. Even if Big Ben is as mobile as a office chair on carpet, it doesn't take away from that experience and him winning 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. And I think that's going to be a big factor this year, because there's some young teams in the playoffs. Like the Chargers, that's more of a young team. There's not a lot of playoff experience there. You know what I mean? The Bengals, same thing. The Chiefs definitely have that experience, and the Patriots have plenty of that experience.
Except for their quarterback. I mean,
except for Mac Jones.
But I wouldn't worry too much.
Defense wins championships, but offense is selling tickets. You know what I mean? Mac Jones is exciting to watch, but that Patriots defense,
it's where it's at.
Yeah, exactly.
And if the Steelers did get in,
I don't think they make it far anywhere.
7. They would either go up against Tennessee in Tennessee this time or Kansas City. Yeah. And they just barely escaped Tennessee because they had like 5 turnovers that game. That's not going to happen every time. Especially, I can't imagine Tennessee turns the ball over 5 times again in Tennessee in a playoff scenario. And then they would get the Chiefs of Kansas City again.
That's true.
And then they would get the Chiefs of Kansas City again, which I don't think would go well. So even if they do make it, I don't think they would get past the first round. But
you never know.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of stuff can change. But given the teams that they're going up, the caliber of team they would face with that 7-2 spot would not be ideal. Yeah, and then the Bengals as well. If the Bengals somehow got the 2 seed, I mean, the Bengals beat them twice this year convincingly too. And then the Bills, Shiesty. Joe Shiesty, and then the Bills, they beat the Bills week 1, but both teams are a lot different now. So I think that would be an interesting game. And the Pats get the 2 seed. I don't know, but that would also be an interesting game too.
The Pats are actually still in contention for the 2 seed.
I think they're contention for the 1 too, but they need.
That's a long shot though.
Titans got to lose, Chiefs got to lose, Bengals got to lose, and the Bills got to lose, and they got to win. So I don't know how that would work.
I don't think Joe Burrow is playing, so they have.
No, he's not.
Bengals have a chance to lose,
but Baker's not playing. Actually, no, they're probably better off with Case Keenum. Anyway.
Yeah, like honestly, like go off that whole Baker Mayfield thing. Like I was listening to Skip Bayless, he had a point. Actually, no, Shannon Sharp. You play with an injury, like everyone credits you when you do well. Right now, Baker's hurting the team more with playing through an injury,
and he is. It's obvious too. But I don't think they should necessarily just toss him to the curb just yet. I don't think Baker Mayfield's it. But what's the backup plan? You draft someone, you trade for someone. If you think you can do that, then sure, do it. But if not, I mean, you can still give them that 5th year and see what happens.
They still have a lot of caliber on that team, honestly. That they were rolling at first in the beginning of the year, but then they had that COVID outbreak. They had injury bugs just come out of nowhere, and that whole Odell fiasco. So I mean,
listen, I don't think Baker's great, but I think he's serviceable enough that if everything is right around him, he can get it done.
Yeah.
That being said, do you keep him? That's why I'm thinking maybe you use the 5th year option. But
next year's quarterbacks are so much better too. So I mean, like you're kind of like.
I think it's either you trade for someone or you let it ride out because what do you
have to lose right now?
I mean, they got to the playoffs last year. I mean, the team's solid. Like I said, I don't think Baker Mayfield's great, but
he's all right.
What's your backup plan?
Yeah,
it's not like there's one set in stone. But anyways, let's move on to the NFC wildcard teams. Which NFC wildcard team do you think could make some noise out of the possible Saints, Niners, Eagles, or most likely Cardinals, maybe Rams? Depends how that shakes out. But who do you think, Puggy, out of those?
So if the Rams somehow become a wildcard team, I'm going to say the Rams flat out.
Yeah.
I mean, that defense is unbelievable. Matt Stafford, while people are trying to hate on Matt Stafford for throwing all the picks, he's a workhorse. He literally is. He's fighting through back injuries right now. Yeah, I've given him crap over the years, but he's a fantastic quarterback. I mean, when he's in the right system, he does the right things. Look at it. He's had the best. 2 receivers had their best season, like careers of their life, like in one season because Matt Stafford was at the helm. Calvin Johnson and Cooper Kupp, and no one gives Matt Stafford enough credit for both those seasons. So that's why I think the Rams are the best.
People have told me that, Matt Stafford's not a winner, but yet somehow he's leading a team that's 12-4, but apparently he's not playing well enough. So
also, I heard a stat this morning. If they win, they had the best home record this year out of all teams. So
I think they would be, if they end up with a 2 seed being the Niners, they're a legitimate threat.
Yeah.
But I don't know how the playoff scenario seeding works, but if the Eagles can match up against the Bucks, which I think is apparently there's like a simulation where there's like 33 possible chances of scenarios, and 22 of them the Eagles get the Bucks. Honestly, hot take, I think the Eagles could upset the Bucks. I know you're probably thinking, how in the world is that?
I'm actually
not
shocked by that.
This Bucks team is not what they were last year. The injury bug has caught up to them. Last year, they were healthy and firing on all cylinders when the time mattered. Now it's kind of the other way around.
Yeah.
Godwin's down. Leonard Fournette might play. Antonio Brown left.
Cut.
Yeah, I mean, he left before he got cut.
That secondary seems worse than it was last year.
Oh, yes. And isn't Shaq Barrett's hurt as well, if I'm not mistaken?
Pretty sure, yeah. It's a minor injury, but still, like, it's not the right time to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably not going to get the first round bye. So they're playing either most likely the Eagles or like the Saints or Niners.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Eagles, they're getting their COVID bug out of the way right now. They're playing some good football.
Yeah.
I think they could make some noise if the scenario lines up for them. I really do. I think they could make some noise. Micky, who are you thinking could be a wild card team that could make some noise in the NFC?
I'm going to agree with the Eagles. I think they're one of those like chaotic teams where when it comes to the playoffs, it just kind of, that's where they need to be. And I feel like they excel in that situation when they're the underdogs. I mean, look at when they won the Super Bowl a few years ago. Like they were, were they the number 1 or 2 seed?
They were the number 1 seed.
And they were still considered the underdogs.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter to them. So now that they're actually the underdogs, you know, this is right where they kind of like to be, I feel like. I mean, Philadelphia is a gritty city. I think they'll excel in this situation. The Cardinals as well. I'm big on the Cardinals. I have been since the start of the season. I think that's a solid roster. And I don't think, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in the Rams, to be quite honest. And
really?
The Cowboys, I feel like the Cowboys are fraudulent, just flat out.
Just throw it out there.
Just throw it out. I don't know.
You know, honestly, I actually don't agree with that Cowboy statement. I hate to say that. I actually think the Cowboys are legit this year.
Okay.
It pains me to say that.
Their defense is where it's at.
Yeah, but honestly, they should be lucky that Michael Parsons just got this COVID bug right now. I hate to say that, like, the team should be lucky that someone's getting sick at the current moment, but
I know, but that's just how it is.
But it's a better time to get it than next week.
That's the thing.
I feel bad for Michael Parsons though, because he could have broken so many records this week. Apparently, like he just needed 2 sacks, I think, to break a rookie record. But you know what? I think they'd rather have him for the playoffs than break a record. So I do think the Cowboys can make some noise.
Hasn't their cornerback Diggs given up over 1,000?
The most yards in the NFL. Yeah.
That's a podcast topic for another day. Oh my Lord.
But as long as another team has a good receiving core, that's it. You just have to burn him.
He doesn't necessarily get burnt. I think it's more that he just overcommits because he's always trying to pick off the ball.
Same. As long as you just pass him, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do what you need to. Do a little dance. Run faster than him. Get him to bite. That doesn't matter. If he's a weakness, unless you just bench him, you could just expose that all day long. That's something something Bill Belichick would do. Not to always use the Patriots, but
It's okay, we get it. You like the Patriots.
I mean, I do. Can you blame me?
How do you feel about the Pats this year?
I told you, they'll be dangerous. They'll be dangerous based on defense and based on Bill Belichick being the coach. You can never discredit Bill Belichick. Doesn't matter who he has on his team.
Really can't. He makes the most no-name people in the world turn into all-stars.
I mean, look at Tom Brady himself was a 6th-round draft pick.
I didn't know that, man. No one's ever mentioned that before.
No one has ever. I know. No one has ever talked.
No one talks.
That.
No one talks.
No
about
one
it.
has ever mentioned pick.
We don't talk about it enough, honestly.
No one has ever, literally, no one's ever brought it up.
I mean,
I'm here to do
hell, Bill Belichick turned a lacrosse player into a wide receiver. So
yeah. But did you know Tom Brady was a 6th round pick? Did you know that?
Never knew that.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Crazy.
You learn, it's true. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, it obviously. I mean, look at us. And did you know he went to Michigan too?
I had no clue.
Go Blue, baby.
Yeah, go Blue. Go Blue. They look great in the college football playoffs, but that's another topic for another day.
I unfortunately, that being said, as much as I do love Tom Brady, given their injuries and everything, he can only do so much. He's not like Nick Foles. He can't throw and catch the ball.
I think
he can only do so much.
I think that's evident by the Jets game that they played.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Look at the Jets game. Look
yes,
how close.
They won, and absolutely. But can they do that 4 times in a row this year, given the state of the team? I'm not sure they can. Because, I mean, the Jets are the Jets, and they put up a fight. Right now, hypothetically, they're going to go up against the 49ers. At this current moment.
Them for them. I like that matchup for them, to be honest.
Yeah. At this current moment, they will go up against the 49ers. And assuming all the higher seed wins, just to make life simple, right? They would then get the Rams in LA, who they already lost to this year at full strength.
Yeah.
But that was early in the year. Now, assuming the Bucs would win that game, they would get the Packers this time.
Then again, though, Aaron Rodgers loves choking in the NFC Championship. So,
well, the point I'm trying to get across is, do you think Tampa Bay, in their current state, could string together 4 wins like they did last year?
Yes and no. Predominantly no, but yes at the same time. Just because I can never bet against Tom Brady.
You can't bet against Tom Brady.
You really can't.
I want to say
the
there's no
pick
chance
cannot be bet against.
I want to say there's no chance they can string this to get all the way there. But we've seen Tom Brady do this too many times, so you just can't say no.
You can't. But I think looking at where they are right now, given going against the teams that they'll most likely play, I just can't see them getting 4 wins in a row given the state of the team. And now that is, other teams could get injuries.
Yeah.
That would get in the way of that. And then all of a sudden now they look healthier than the other team ahead of them. Maybe the team they gets a COVID outbreak and there's another break for Tom Brady. But
for all you know, that Tom Brady
that's how it is. What are you going to do?
You never know.
Tom Brady can get COVID. That could be the Tom Brady stopper.
That's true. I mean, Tom Brady, you also can never count out Tom Brady because he was losing to the Falcons 28-3. I don't know if you know this. 28-3 in the Super Bowl.
I missed that Super Bowl.
You did.
I missed that.
Let me tell you, bud. There's nothing quite like fourth quarter Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Honestly. I mean, I was born in 1998, and I've watched every Super Bowl live since 68. And yeah, but I've never seen the Tom Brady comeback against the Falcons. I was there in person for the first ever Super Bowl, Packers and Chiefs, even though I was born in 1998. But I never saw.
Have to do some math, but
but I never saw that comeback that Tom Brady had. Never mentioned before.
Never mentioned.
I think it had something to do with him being a 6th round pick, but
could be.
Who knows?
Could be that chip on his shoulder he's been riding for 20 years.
So enough of our dying joke. Let's talk about some basketball. Mr. Kyrie Irving is back. Not in Brooklyn, not in New York, and not in the state of California, but anywhere else that, to my knowledge, he is fair game to play. And on his first game back, he put up, let me take a look. He put up 22 points, and he did make a 3, shot 9 for 17 from the field, and he had 4 assists, 3 boards, and 3 steals. I think that's solid enough. And honestly, Lance Stevenson might have been a bigger storyline.
Yeah.
Last night, coming back and balling out.
Yeah.
I mean, that was good. It was good to see him balling out. But Kyrie Irving is back for now. Who knows how long he'll be here yet? But if Kyrie Irving, if Brooklyn's going to get to the playoffs, the point I'm trying to say is, can the Brooklyn Nets do damage with Kyrie Irving only playing half the games in a playoff series?
No.
You don't think so? So you think Brooklyn's going to be at a disadvantage?
All right, put this to theory, all right? I'm going to use the Knicks and a couple of California teams. They go up against the Knicks. Yeah, they'll put up a fight because there's still Kevin Durant and Harden against the whole Knicks team itself. But let's say they somehow make it to the finals and they're up against either the Warriors or the Lakers.
He's not going to
play. Kyrie Irving can't play any game of that series. He can't play any game of the series against the Knicks. Can't play any game of the series against any LA team. They're at a lose-lose with him right now, unless he like gets the vaccine and all that. They're at a loss or regulations change. He's not going to be crucial for the most important game. Because honestly, in my opinion, I think the Warriors are going all the way to the finals. Even though Steph Curry's had like 2 really bad games of shooting, everyone has a slump. But the way they've been playing all season is phenomenal. Klay Thompson's coming back.
Getting Klay Thompson back.
They have all the pieces in the world to make it to the finals. They're phenomenal right now. They only have like 9 losses. James Wiseman's also coming back soon.
Yeah, and who knows what they'll do with the trade deadline?
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if like Andrew Wiggins and someone else got shipped off for like Ben Simmons. Honestly, I won't be shocked.
That would be interesting. But I do agree. I think the Warriors can't go all the way. I think barring injuries, they have the best chance to win it all. I think they're the best team given the circumstances. I think Brooklyn could have been maybe one of the only few teams that give them a run for their money. Maybe the Bucks as well, but the Bucks don't look the same this year.
They don't.
There's just something off with them. But being healthy is what propelled the Suns and the Bucks to the championship last year. So no reason they can't do it again if they're healthy. But yeah, I mean, with Kyrie Irving not being able to play Brooklyn home games, I would be willing to bet that would probably cost him at least a game or 2.
Don't get me wrong, Patty Mills is pretty well. He's been doing well.
Watching Patty Mills is like watching a better Korkmaz. He just shoots threes constantly in weird ways.
But he makes them.
And it goes in more than it does for Korkmaz. And I can't stand watching Furkan Korkmaz play basketball. It's but
I mean, like, going back to the Kyrie thing, he's handcuffing the Nets in a way.
He is.
Because, like, when Kyrie plays, phenomenal distributor of the ball. He knows how to break down the defense. He's pretty good at defense overall, honestly. He's bringing stuff that Patty Mills can't. Yeah, crafty. He's bringing stuff that Patty Mills just can't bring for them on a consistent basis. But, like I said, though, he's going to handcuff them if they make it to the finals against an LA team, or if they come up against the Knicks somehow in the playoffs.
All right, let's be honest. I think the Nets would still be able to handle it.
I still think they would win, but like it's not going to be an easy win. Like not a 4-0 sweep that would have if they have Kyrie.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think the Knicks will take a game or 2.
Yeah. I think they would take a game and a half. Maybe 2.
But still, like it won't be easy. Like compared to like having Kyrie for all games. We saw what they did with Kyrie, all 3 of them at once. They're 12-3 together.
I mean, we'll see how it plays out for Brooklyn. If Kyrie does get the vaccine, or I don't
think regulations are going to change. Honestly,
well, I was going to say, here's the thing: COVID so far, from what we've seen, it has spiked in the winter, and it's gotten a little calmer in the spring and summer in terms of cases.
Mm-hmm.
So, could regulations be a little, looser in the spring, summertime to maybe let him play? Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, the 2 states that we're talking about are the 2 most strict states about this whole COVID thing, respectfully, because they have the biggest populations in the country.
Well, obviously, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I agree, and I hear what you're saying, but I'm just saying that in the summer, it so far from what we've seen, they could obviously change with different variants and whatever. But I don't want to go on a whole COVID rant. But the point is that I don't rule out Kyrie necessarily for sure from playing, playoff games in Brooklyn if things are looking up in the world. But Micky, what are your thoughts on the whole Kyrie in the playoffs and beyond?
Let me preface this with I'm not the biggest basketball fan. I do fantasy basketball. I play 2K. I'm not like a diehard. I don't watch the games unless I go like see the Sixers in person. I think more than anything, Kyrie's messing up the chemistry there, because you put out one starting 5 one night and then you have to put out a completely different one at home, or not a completely different one, but like Kyrie's a big player. It changes a lot when he's not in the starting five or in the lineup. So I think that's going to mess them up. I think they'd be better off. Does he have a no trade clause or anything? Can they still trade him?
I don't even know.
Who would want him?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Who would want him? Anyone that doesn't play in New York or California.
But still, though, you go in the finals.
Or since Ben Simmons is being toxic, Kyrie's being toxic.
Here's the thing. Ben Simmons for Kyrie Irving. It's a player for player. I think it works great for both teams. Yeah. Brooklyn matches against Philadelphia in the playoffs. Philadelphia's immediately at a disadvantage because they don't get Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn for either 3 or 4 games. And Brooklyn gets Ben Simmons for all possible 7.
If he decides to play, yeah. I mean, still don't. I don't know.
Well, if he would go to Brooklyn, I think he would play.
Listen. He seems like the Antonio Brown of basketball right now.
That's a bit extreme.
Yeah,
it is extreme. It is extreme. It just doesn't make sense to me why you would take what's he at 10 million in fines?
At least
he reached 10
to not play basketball.
Yeah.
I've seen him more at Drexel than I have at Wells Fargo. Like it makes no sense to me. He just needs to figure it out. Man needs to figure it out. But that's true too. Like that wouldn't work 1 for 1. But there has to be something out there that could work for both.
I don't know. I don't know how KD and James Harden are okay with this. Honestly, if I'm them, I'm livid every day I see him.
They might be. They might not be.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Talking about it.
At the end of the day, sports is a professional entertainment.
It is.
It's professional entertainment, right? So you have to be professional about your actions. You have to put feelings and stuff aside. You have to. It's at the end of the day, it is a job.
There are some people who get away with it, but rightfully so. They put in.
Right. So it's probably just a matter of that. Like you have to get along with your colleagues at the end of the day.
Yeah. We'll see, I guess. What about you, Steve? What do you think overall, though?
Again, for the away games, it's going to be nice. I mean, like I said, it's good. It's probably going to cost them down the road. Like you said, they go against the Warriors. I don't think they'd even handle the Lakers without him, but the Warriors, I think that's where I would draw the line and giving them a chance.
I feel like Kyrie's one of the only people that could stop Curry.
Even just any healthy team in the East, like the Bucks, even the Bulls, maybe the Hawks, maybe the Sixers if they ever figure it out or make a move for get Ben Simmons out of there and get somebody.
The Knicks if they get Bradley Beal. What am I saying? Nope. Okay.
Any other healthy team.
Let's be realistic. I don't watch basketball. Let's be realistic.
Any healthy team that's not in New York could get the job done. That being said, I just want to talk about one other thing before we move on to soccer. Miles Turner deserves better.
I got a thing to talk about basketball before we move on. And it's not about the Knicks. It's not about the Knicks.
Okay. All right. Then tell me what's up.
We talk about LeBron?
Braun. Yes.
The biggest villain in the NBA is returning, I guess.
The biggest villain maybe is a stretch, but
still, the villain from Miami, like the numbers he's putting up it's back, I guess.
I wonder if that has something to do. Well, I don't wonder. It probably does have something to do with the fact that AD is not playing right now, so he's putting up.
He has to pick up some.
He has to pick up the slack, and Russell Westbrook is just there.
Honestly, though, like I watched the game the other night. LeBron's not playing the 1 anymore. He's playing the 5, and honestly, LeBron playing the 5 is fantastic.
It's an extreme mismatch for anybody.
Yeah, the only time LeBron at the 5 won't work, I feel like, is when he goes up against Jokic or Embiid. Overall, though, the versatility for him being at the 5 is fantastic. He knows how to dish it out like a point guard. He knows how to shoot like a regular 3-man. So where do you think he falls in the MVP race now? Because now people are saying, Curry's losing his lead. That's what most people think Curry is the MVP, but now people are talking about LeBron. Where do you think this ends at the end of the year? I don't think LeBron can keep up this type of production consistently for the rest of the year. And if he does, then he's the MVP. Yeah.
But I feel like when Anthony Davis comes back, there's going to be a slight decrease in his usage rate.
I still think Curry will win it all.
Yeah, I think Curry still is the guy, even though he's in a slump. And I think LeBron's just streaking.
I actually have a reason behind it. when Curry has Clay, it's like statistically proven Curry just plays better because not only do you have to worry, like, because right now they're double teaming, triple teaming Curry because they have no one else to really worry about. Klay Thompson comes back, you can't do that. You do that to Curry, you're leaving a wide open shooter or like someone else that can facilitate the ball, pass it out. So Curry's just going to get higher numbers.
And Curry's been elite
without Clay.
Clay.
It's just only going to go up. Like
I just think, like I said, barring injury, it can only get better for them.
Yeah.
And I think same goes for LeBron, but he gets Anthony Davis back. I don't know if he'll be as effective as he is right now.
I think if
he will be. There's no doubt about that. He will be. But MVP level effective.
I think they keep LeBron at the 5 though, even when AD comes back. Honestly,
yes, I agree.
AD can't play the 5.
Do I agree?
AD can't play the 5. He's not good at the 5, in my opinion. He tries too much to play on the outside.
That's why I think
go up the court. He stays on the perimeter.
That's why I think he would be more dominant if he just took the role of a traditional big like Embiid. He could be the best center in the league.
He could,
but he doesn't play that.
Yeah,
and I'm not quite sure why.
Literally, Embiid bought into it like a couple years ago. He still does shoot an occasional 3, like on an occasional pick and pop.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, but you know what the problem is with Embiid? He never does the pick and pop, but never the pick and roll. That's why Tyrese Maxey doesn't look as good as he did when Embiid wasn't playing, because Embiid refuses to roll on the pick and roll.
How about you feel, Steve-O?
That's why his team is in the gutter. I know this just turned into a Sixers rant, but Doc Rivers, that's
a topic for another day. Clearly, you have feelings for it.
But LeBron and the Lakers will make the playoffs.
Oh, easily.
Barring an injury. And
they've had already enough.
Yeah. So I'm just going to see what they do at the deadline, too, if the Westbrook will stay or not. So it'll be interesting.
Westbrook for Ben Simmons trade?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I mean, you're good, but I don't know if the GMs are good.
What did you say, Micky?
Westbrook for Kyrie Irving?
Could you imagine? That'd be
the original OKC trio.
They literally would not work.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Actually, it wouldn't. Kyrie can't play.
It's Cali.
Kyrie can't
still
play.
One of the only 2 states he can't play in.
I was thinking about how it would literally be the Thunder 2.0 again.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but then I just heard what Micky said. I'm like, oh wait, Kyrie and Cali.
LeBron.
That doesn't work.
No. Yeah.
It would be nice though to see that.
Yeah. But the one more quick thing I want to say about basketball, then we'll go on to soccer. Miles Turner. Here's my opinion on Miles Turner. This dude is elite, and he deserves better than Indiana is giving him right now. I said before that Indiana should blow it up, and now it's finally coming together. Hopefully, if they decide to actually pull the trigger and blow it up.
Could have happened if the team accepted a trade for Brogdon and LeVert for Simmons.
Yeah, I know. They should have taken that in hindsight. But I think Miles Turner on Charlotte would make them a really, really interesting team, because Charlotte's best big man that they probably ever had was an old out of prime Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
Or maybe an old out of prime Al Jefferson. Point is, they haven't had a center that strikes any type of fear into the heart of an opponent pretty much ever. And if they go out and get Miles Turner with LaMelo Ball, Kelly Oubre playing extremely well, Miles Bridges being a most improved player of the year candidate, and Terry Rozier just being Terry Rozier.
Gordon Hayward.
And Gordon Hayward. I don't know why I forgot about Gordon Hayward. But anyways, if they go out and get Miles Turner, this team could make some noise that you might not have expected in the playoffs.
They can make noise, but how far of a noise can they make? That's the thing.
The healthier team could prevail, honestly.
That's true, but let's say the idealistic, no one gets hurt, everyone's healthy. Do they really make much noise against a lot of these
I think they could at least get out of the first round.
I think they could
depending
get
on
out of the first
seeding.
round. Yeah, they go. No offense, they go up against the Sixers. I think they win. They go up
Do you
against the
think
Knicks.
they beat
Easily
the
win.
Sixers?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
really
about
do. The only
that.
issue I think would be Embiid. That's their only
That's the
issue.
thing. Miles Turner could handle pretty much anyone else in the East besides probably Embiid.
But the thing is, though, like, no offense to the Sixers, Tobias Harris ain't that guy consistently for them.
But they need a number 2.
Yeah, they do, and they don't have that number 2. They don't.
Didn't
Like-
Danny Green just pop off?
For 0 points in 24 minutes. Yeah, that great pop off. But still, it's like Sixers. I mean, they have caliber, they have great players, but like they don't have that second reliable guy because their second reliable guy right now is not playing.
Yeah.
They go against the Hawks, the Hornets. I think the Hornets to beat the Hawks, honestly, personally.
That's interesting.
That's a hot take, but I mean, I think Miles Bridges is better than John Collins. I think he's more athletic.
Melo Ball could definitely hold his own against Trae Young, I think.
Who's their 2 for Atlanta? Bogdan?
I guess maybe Clint working the pick and roll with Trae.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how the pick and roll is so effective when a dominant point guard and a center work together? That's crazy, man.
Crazy thought. Fundamentals, man.
Crazy.
But I don't know. I guess we'll see
It'll
down
be-
the line. But I do agree with you.
We'll have a better
Turner,
idea.
Miles Turner is very disrespected. He is very talented. He literally leads the league every single year in blocks for a reason.
No, he's good and he definitely deserves better. Alrighty. So for our last topic of the day, 3 of us get to complain about our favorite soccer club over in Europe being just terrible. I was hopeful, and there's something's wrong with this team internally, and I think we're starting to figure out that it might not be the coach or the player. It might just be the entire vibe in the locker room and the front office. But they're not where they should be right now. And I thought that Ralph Ragnick was going to, he signed a 6-month, end of the year deal with a possible 2-year extension. At this point, he's not going to get that.
Well, no, he's an interim manager for 6 months. And then he's head of recruiting for 2 years.
Oh, is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Micky's
He's not a manager. He's not supposed to be a manager.
He's like the Jason Kidd of basketball.
The interest in him is like GM and taking over. I believe it's Ed Woodward's spot because Ed Woodward's gone, which was the biggest thing. Because ever since he's been here, it's been miserable.
So their philosophy is pretty much just to throw this year. I mean,
Not
even-
necessarily throw. He's
not-
trying to do whatever he can to
no.
keep the culture, I guess, intact. But that
that's
ain't
not
even
going
intact.
well.
The culture is
At this point,
toxic.
Ronaldo's going to leave, which is terrible.
Yeah,
Should we address it from head to toe? What do you like?
we could just from head to toe.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Let's start from the
Okay,
front
yeah.
office, though. Let's start from front office. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we got rid of the
biggest
we got rid of
toxic person.
Woodward. Yeah. And was it the Woodward brothers? Who was the brothers that were in
The
charge?
Blazers, they still own the
The
team. I think they need to sell.
No,
they need to sell.
they sold something. They sold a percentage, I think.
That's still
I'm
not
pretty
a
sure
lot. They still have say.
I know. They need to go. Ed Woodward gone. Good. It's just, I feel like it's just that awkward stage. We just fired Ole. Just fired Woodward. It's kind of like figuring out what's going on.
You know what I
Yeah.
don't understand? How comes Chelsea can fire their head coaches every 2 years, and then the next guy they hire it just is immaculate with everything that he does from tactics to recruiting to
That's not
getting to
necessarily
motivate.
true. That's not necessarily
Tuchel's
true.
amazing.
What?
Tuchel's amazing, but when they went from
They just
Conte to
won
Frank Lampard blew
Oh,
it.
Sure,
Lampard-
I forgot about that.
That
Joe.
was a 2-year period in between.
I
It
forgot
was
about that one.
Conte to Lampard, and now Lampard to Tuchel. But
Yeah.
Tuchel's good.
I
Jurgen
forgot about
Klopp
Lampard,
has been
honestly.
the best manager in the Prem. Or Klopp and Guardiola. Take that. Do what you want with that argument. I think Klopp's a better manager because
So do I.
City just buys everybody. That's not as much talent. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. That's a conversation for a different day. I think Mourinho should have been given more time, quite frankly.
I agree.
The
Yeah, as
fact that
much
he
as I-
finished second with that squad, and he said that was his greatest achievement when he's won the Champions League. no one realized what that meant until like now.
Yeah, people are talking about that now.
That squad was awful looking back at it. You had Fellaini consistently in your midfield.
Yeah, but you had Mkhitaryan and Pogba, and they were like solid.
They were solid, but
Mkhitaryan's not like an amazing player, but he is like solid. But yeah, you also had De Gea, Rojo, and Phil Jones, the two good center back.
It was rough, but
it's getting worse now. It feels like
that's the thing.
Then you go from front office to manager, right? That was addressed. Now we're looking for a real coach, though, and apparently Eric Ten Hag, however you say his name, sorry, he's being looked at as the next manager, and apparently he's solid.
Where's he from again?
Netherlands.
He's the Ajax guy, right?
He is, yeah.
Maybe Van de Beek will finally get used.
Yeah,
I think they should loan him out. I don't think they should.
I agree with that, but
I think he's unnecessary depth. We have
they should loan him out for 6 months, like they did with Lingard by West Ham.
That worked. That worked for him.
Yeah. Can we hang on? Now that Lingard's on the topic, why aren't they playing Lingard?
Well, why would you? I mean, when you have Bruno,
Jadon Sancho's in the slump.
Jadon Sancho's turning around. I feel like he started the season bad.
The reports from this morning, a bunch of the people in the locker room want Lingard to at least play more because he actually has decent talent.
He's been like Van de Beek before Van de Beek was Van de Beek, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he literally was the guy that deserved to play at times but didn't play. And then when he finally did play and he played awful, he literally got slaughtered.
Yeah, and then he got loaned out, started playing amazing, found his groove, and came back. I agree. I think Lingard should play more. Maybe even over Rashford. I feel like Rashford's not.
Rashford's in a slump. I saw some TikTok. Some guy said, "How can you be finished at 24?" Like
I don't think
it's rough right now. No, obviously he's not. He's just
is so critical too. I think it's brutal. I wouldn't want to play in that. I mean, not that my chubby self could play in the Prem, but if I had to pick, I wouldn't pick the Prem. Ronaldo's Ronaldo.
I think he's getting fed up.
I mean, rightfully so. I'd be annoyed too.
But like, I feel like Ronaldo's not being the leader that we all expect Ronaldo to be. At times,
they also. I read a report that said they consider Greenwood to be selfish.
I agree with that at times. Watch him play.
Look at the stats he was putting up at the beginning of the season. He was having the greatest start to a Prem season that anyone under the age of 20 was.
Yeah.
Like, do you blame him?
Yes and no. I mean, you're still playing for one of the most decorated clubs in the whole world. You kind of have to learn to know your role, especially when you have Ronaldo on your team. Like, Ronaldo learned his role quickly. Like, don't get me wrong, he still also had one of the greatest managers that wouldn't let selfishness fly by him anytime. But you got to learn your role because soccer is one of those sports. If one guy messes up, it kind of messes up the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then to add on to that with the whole players, Paul Pogba, what's happening with that? He's literally going to be a free agent. Nothing's happened with contract negotiations, I guess. He's probably not re-signing because of how bad this is going. He's probably going to leave now to I don't even know.
We've been hearing about him leaving for the past 5 years.
Yeah, but at this rate, it's going to probably be official. I mean, you just probably spent one of the highest record breaking deals of all time during that time. For him to just leave for nothing. Nothing.
He needs to figure it out. He needs to choose if he's in or out. It's like.
But at this rate, if I was a manager of a team and I constantly heard these rumors because his agent sucks, man, Mino Raiola, he stirs so much. I would have sold him by now. I would have accepted the first offer that came to my door for him. Real Madrid offered for them. I would have done it.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to be doing much anyways, in the Champions League or anything. It's not like a real threat.
Unless they get Mbappe this summer, which...
Did you see speaking of Mino Raiola, did you see the Erling Haaland transfer rumor to PSG? The whole thing would cost 300 million, and Haaland's contract would be 30 to 35 million over 6 years. and Raiola would get 30 million out of the transfer alone. That's tough.
Of course, he wants him to go there. Why wouldn't you?
He's brilliant.
I mean, if I was getting 30 million to move somebody from Germany to Paris, yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Raiola is brilliant, honestly. He knows how to play anyone.
He's got to be so rolling in the cash. But anyways, getting back to United. The good thing is there's a lot of young talent. Like Ahmed Diallo. Every other name just escaped my mind just now.
I mean, Rashford's still 24. Greenwood's still young. Sancho's still young.
He's 19. Yeah.
Well, how long do we continue using this excuse? I feel like we've used this excuse for how many years now?
Well,
we said when we had Pogba.
Years.
We said it for Rashford when he first started. We said it for Martial when he first started. We said it for Depay when he was there.
Martial needs to go too. That's another thing.
How long do you continue with this excuse? Like, United are really just stuck. They're going nowhere.
Yeah, they are.
It's like to the point that they just need a clean house. I mean, Dean Henderson last season had one of the greatest endings to the whole, like as a goalkeeper in general. Hasn't played.
Well, because De Gea has been
De Gea has been on fire, but how do you not start off the season with Dean Henderson, who was having probably one of the greatest seasons of his life last year?
Well, that was the thing. Mourinho had to make that, or not Mourinho, my bad. Ole had to make that call at the beginning of the season, and that was the call he made. And I mean, to his credit, it's paying off now. But that was like that was an interesting call, to say the least.
They bring in Rafael Varane for nothing, like nothing price wise.
He got injured. That's not on him. That's not
on him. That's not on him. But like, they're making good signings, but nothing's paying off right now, except for the Harry Maguire signing. Steven, I'll agree with you. Finally, he sucks. He's garbage.
Harry Maguire needs to go. It was good in thought though. You can't really argue that. An English defender who is used to the Prem and plays well in the Prem. Like,
yeah.
Did they overpay for him? Yes. By far.
After they got Varane for less than him, I know it was because Real Madrid had to cut contracts, but
yeah,
still.
Well, it's also because of when you sign an English player while being in the Premier League, you're going to pay like some.
When you're buying from your direct competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, compared to what they pay for Varane was a steal.
Or Bruno.
Bruno was a steal. 50 mil.
They got for 30 mil less than Harry Maguire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 34, I believe.
Yeah, 34. Yeah.
Still.
The Maguire thing was also on United for leaving that transfer to the last minute. They left it like 3 days before the transfer window ended.
Thought it was the day.
Even worse.
Yeah.
They need a stronger midfield, I feel like. I don't think McTominay. I love McTominay. I don't feel like he cuts it sometimes, though. Same thing. He's young. Fred is hot and cold. And when he's hot, super good. Great with takeaways, great offensively. But when he's cold, it's just like horrible to watch.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka is the only one I feel like that's consistent. And even he is not perfect.
Yeah, sometimes he's way too aggressive to the point that it hurts him. Like card-wise.
Yeah, it's just like you look at the whole roster, and like Luke Shaw's fantastic until he gets injured, and it happens every single year. And it stinks because like you enjoy watching these players and you grow fond of them, but like at a certain point you got to be like, all right, well, we need to win.
It was crazy. All three of us this year, when the season started, we heard about Ronaldo joining. We're like, oh, we're definitely gonna watch more United games. We watched that Liverpool game.
Then we were like, oh boy.
I don't think I've watched since then.
I haven't watched the game since then.
It's been embarrassing.
Soccer has been so bad for me to watch this year. Can't watch United, can't watch Juventus. I can't watch any bit of soccer this year.
I wouldn't want to watch Juventus anyways.
I wouldn't either.
I don't think it's a good time to watch them.
It's not a good time to watch any team, I guess, nowadays.
Liverpool.
We can't have nice things. That's the thing.
Steven has Tottenham over there, so you can go watch it.
Dude, what's this running joke? I mean, Tottenham probably is nicer than United right now.
They are. I mean,
yes, they are. Barely, but they are.
Steven, you can't have anything being a Lions, Sixers, and a United fan. You got to pick a struggle, bud.
Oh, I'm a Knicks, Giants, United fan. Now, how do you think I feel right now?
Yeah, fair enough.
Like the same thing, pretty much.
Yeah, literally, honestly.
Although I think the Lions might be in better position than the Giants.
Kind of are. At this, you have a better culture. hate using that word, but you do have a better culture.
It's rough, but that's topic for another day.
Culture definitely, sorry to cut you off, Steven.
No,
Culture definitely 100% plays a part.
It does. But I think people use that word all willy-nilly nowadays. Like you bring in
for this scenario, it's properly used, honestly, in my opinion.
It is. Dan Campbell, honestly. Like I was giving him a lot of questions in the beginning of the year. Looked pretty decent
so far, but we'll see next year what the moves they make. That's going to be crucial.
Going back to United.
Yeah, and United, what were you going to say?
What do they do? Like,
I think it's you cut the excess, sell Martial, move on from Pogba, figure out what to do with Fred. I don't know what it is, whether you sell him.
You're probably getting another center defensive mid in some way, shape,
Ruben
or form.
Neves
is a mid. I feel like he's more of a mid, though. I don't think he's defensive.
They still need a regular mid, though. I mean, like, he can play roughly defensive, too. Like, he's Portuguese. I live and swear by this. Portuguese players are defensive like crazy.
Del Cavani.
Shame, yeah, but yes, you have to.
It's not a shame. It was unnecessary. Like, our United didn't have. They had all these strikers that were wingers, right? Like you have Martial, you have Rashford, and you have Greenwood, who play. They put them at striker, but they honestly play like wing. Yeah. You know, Cavani is a by nature striker, and then you sign Ronaldo, and the need for him just evaporates.
United like to sign people they don't need. That's their issue. They like going for those big money name transfers instead of going for what they actually need. And they're afraid to spend. I feel like nowadays, like they're just, yeah.
That might change now.
That's why you don't sign an accountant as your freaking financial advisor for the team and transfer advisor.
Yeah, that's why it's going to change.
Yeah, hopefully. Honestly.
I think that's what we have to look forward to. Is that, I mean, realistically, could it get much worse than this? You know?
Yes, you get relegated.
Yes.
Come on. If United gets relegated, that would be impressive. But that would be more impressive than winning the league, I feel like.
It would. Honestly, it would.
But anyways.
Alrighty. I think that's going to wrap it up, though, for today. It was a good episode. I enjoyed talking about the topic. It's good to be back. So we're going to shout out our sponsors. We got 33 Ranger Music on SoundCloud providing these fresh beats for us. The man can get it done, so go check him out. And of course, we got Edwin the Barber at _Edwin the Barber on Instagram. He provides fresh cuts on a daily. I mean, look at my man Puggy over there. He's got cut 3 days ago?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so still looking fire as always. So if you need a fresh cut, head on over to at _Edwin the Barber on Instagram. And big announcement, in addition to, of course, our video podcast being on YouTube and on our website, we are also making TikToks as well. So just little mini videos that you all can check out. We're going to have a link in the description.
Not those TikToks Mickey just did. No.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, not the TikToks. I wasn't even looking at it. But anyways, if you want to take a look at our TikTok, there's going to be a link in the description of our YouTube video and on the website. They're just little highlight videos, hypotheticals, hype videos. We're going to be doing plenty of content on there. So please go check it out. We're hoping to grow a big platform on there as well. And so thank you, everyone, for listening to the CloudZeroSports podcast. And I hope you all have a great day.
Make sure to like and subscribe
to our YouTube channel. I'll always forget that.